Perfect. Good. Comfy?
Good, good
What's
posture.
up?
Yeah,
I mean, you can get as comfortable as you want. I had Lubelski on here. He took the thing off the fucking...
He just held it.
Took it off and he just held it and he was super casual, so...
He takes it off and unveils a small microphone.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. He said he was going to come out with his own...
His own shades?
Yeah, I think so.
That's a good idea for him.
Damn, sorry if that was leaked information, Jake. I don't know if you wanted that to get out, but...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I wanted to start with you even before, like, the music industry, something I just learned. I didn't know you were in the Navy.
Yeah.
You're a former logistics specialist?
Yeah.
How did that...
Where'd you get that information?
I looked around. I mean, I got it.
Oh, my Facebook probably.
It was on your Facebook. Yeah. You just got to scroll far enough, and then
it's
you can
easy.
find it.
Yeah, it's not classified information.
It's not. Yeah. So how did you even get into that? Where does that even start?
Actually, so
Try to stay close to you.
yeah,
So,
my dad was actually in the Navy, and my mom was in the Army.
oh wow.
So I kind of grew up like a military brat,
Right.
moving around and stuff. After high school, I graduated like in 2007, so
Same.
that was like right before the economy crashed.
Yeah.
It was like terrible, you know. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna just join the Navy, so they pay for my school, you know, travel around the world, have some fun, and it was kind of like a random. At the time, it was random. I was like, just do it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I could see it, like, if you have it in your family, and then we
Yeah.
hit like the recession that we did in 2008. I feel like it kind of just made sense.
It did make sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Just it was like kind of hard getting like a job at the time, and then but I always wanted to like go to school and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And so to have them be able to pay for that was just like some
Do you get accredited from like the Navy? Is it a school in itself? Because how is it like? How do they pay for the school when you have
Well-
to be on aboard the ship with them? Or how
No.
does that work?
Well, I mean, they pay for. I wanted them like they pay for your school after you get out of the Navy.
Oh, okay. So you do your
Yeah, they
Your-
do actually. You can do it while you're in the Navy, but I mean, my goal was to do 4 years and then get out and then have them pay for my school.
Got it. So what was the experience like when you first started? Do you start at like a certain scrub level that
Yeah.
everyone kind of you start off
you
at?
start at the bottom, you know, as like an E1, the like military
Okay.
ranks are E1 to like E9,
E1,
and
E9.
so you start like mopping floors and fucking getting coffee, and
Right.
just being a little
Rookie.
a scrub,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was interesting. It was an experience, but I worked my way up pretty fast.
Yeah. How long were
Actually.
you? How long is like a deployment, or how long do you do a term or whatever it's called?
So
Sorry for
it's
my
diff-
lack of knowledge on the.
It's different for everyone, but so in my case, like I was assigned to a ship. I was on an aircraft carrier,
The Nimitz.
The Nimitz, yeah.
Right.
And so at the time when I got to the ship was actually in dry dock. So
Okay.
it was getting worked on, and so obviously we weren't going out to sea. So basically, I mean, we would go onto the ship and then work and then go home. Basically, just like any sort of like 9 to 5 job,
Right.
you know. And then once the ship was actually repaired, then we would start going out to sea. So sometimes we would go out for like a week and come back, and then sometimes we would go for 2 to 3 months.
Damn.
And then come back. And then like the big one, the deployment when we went to the Middle East, that was like overall 10 and a half months gone
On the boat,
So like
for the most part.
for the most part, yeah.
Damn.
You pull into like a different port they try to do it once a month,
Yeah.
you know.
Damn.
So the longest I was out on a ship without like seeing land was like 110 days, I think.
Did you get any sort of like vertigo or any sort of seasickness where you're like, I need fucking land?
No, Navy, we entertain ourselves
Right.
in strange, weird ways. You
Right.
know? No, not anything too crazy.
Care to
but-
share any of it? It's fine.
Nah.
If not, as if those are Navy
Dude,
secrets.
if I even said it, you would just be like, "What are you?"
All right,
talking about?
tight. Well, it's good. It sounds like it was a good experience, kind of something that obviously set you up for school.
Yeah.
And you came back. Where did you go to school?
So I came back and then I started at a community college in Orange County.
Okay.
So I'm still in school now.
Oh, okay.
So
And they're
I'm
still
almost
covering
done. They're still covering
still
it.
covering it.
So
Tight.
I go to Cal State Long Beach. That's why. So
Right.
I live in Long Beach, and I've actually always wanted to go there. So it's cool. It worked out that way.
Yeah.
But so yeah, they pay for all your schooling and you get money for books, and then they pay you like a job, like you get paid per month, like so.
As like a per diem outside of what you.
So they pay for the
schooling.
schooling, and then also you get money to live
Damn,
with.
nice.
Basically,
That- that's good.
It's
I mean,
dope.
10 months on the water, you would think they gotta make up for it in one way or another.
they,
But
they need to pay, and when you're in the Navy, they don't pay you very well. So
well, Is it more of like they just finance whatever you need at the time? Do they give you like a per diem when you guys like leave the dock and go into the city?
No, you're paid based off your rank.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So the higher up the rank,
so it's like
I guess that makes sense.
They take into consideration your rank, whether or not you're married, and it just depends on like a variety of things that we don't need to get into. But like basically, it's just your rank.
Right. Is it true you get paid double if you're married?
So you get paid like, so if you're married, you get paid what they call BAH, basic housing allowance, BH or something. I forget
one of those acronyms.
Yeah. So depending on what county you live in, there's a certain rate, right? So like if you live in LA County right now, I know because that's what I get paid to go to school. It's $3,000 a month. So if you have a family and you live in LA, you make your normal paycheck plus $3,000 on top of it. Yeah.
No, that's not. Is that why a lot of people, I feel like they do go ahead and get married before they go out?
People get married for like no reason in the military. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's insane.
I mean, the benefits that kind of it just makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, some people, they like fall in love quickly,
right?
And I think like they're kind of low key motivated by that, and then other people are just like straight up scamming.
Yeah. I could totally see it. That wasn't your route of preference.
Dude, I would have been down.
Yeah.
But it's like hard. Who are you gonna ask to like
play the game?
A lot of people would ask like a girl they know and be like, "Hey, I'll kick you like $500 a month."
Yeah, I could totally see that. Damn,
it's super common.
Damn,
because especially people in the military aren't growing up like rich and spoiled. Yeah, so they're down to like.
Well, how old were you when you did all that? When you were in the water and when you were out at sea?
21 to like 25 or 26.
Damn, that's an interesting time to be doing all that. I'm sure you saw some shit that was like.
Yeah, it's in your 20s, it's almost like, it's like that's like a fun time for a lot of people, like being in college and doing all these different crazy things. Or you could be in the military in the middle of the ocean, just like slaving away 12, 15-hour days. Like, it was cool.
Do you have like a set time or like a set deployment, and then after you're done with your time, you no longer need to serve, sort of thing, or do you withdraw?
You're just on like I was assigned to the Nimitz. You're just on that ship schedule. So whatever the mission of the ship is like you're just along for the ride. Damn. So you're typically assigned to a ship for 4 years. Is like your billet, and then once that's up, you can kind of choose your next order. You can be like, oh, I want to go to this ship, or I want to go to this base, or
okay. So they give you the benefit to be able to kind of pick and choose for the most part,
kind of
within reason.
Yeah.
Well, how did you get to logistics specialist from Scrub? Did you like have to study that beforehand, or
no? So when you join the military nowadays, you actually pick your job before you're going in. So I like chose logistics specialist. When I was going in, there weren't that many options because the military was kind of full, just because the way like the economy was and stuff.
Right.
So like they weren't doing bonus. Like a couple years before that, I was about to join, and they were offering me like a $30,000 bonus just to join. Damn. And then the economy crashed, and then it was like no bonus. Like we're full. So here, like,
after you had already like signed up with the intention of getting the bonus.
So originally I was gonna do the Army. I was gonna do air traffic control, and then like there's just a bunch of stuff with that. They kind of messed up on their end with that, but it's a story for another time. But I just was like logistics special. The way they describe stuff to you, I was the recruiter. The recruiter doesn't even know what they're talking about because they've never done that job.
Right.
You know
they
what
just
I mean?
Have to sell you.
They're just kind of like saying what they think, and they're trying to sell it. So I was just like, whatever. But actually, when I got in, I was like, yo, this is actually one of the jobs I would prefer to do. In the Navy,
it's managing like inventories of like repair parts, items, pretty much anything that comes in and out of that ship.
Yeah, a logistics specialist can deal with like any sort of material, every little tiny thing, from a nut and bolt to entire F-18 like wing flaps and like parts of the ship and like stuff like that. So.
That's a big way up from mopping the floors and shit.
Yeah. So, and luckily I was like, I don't know if like my upper chain of command just kind of saw something in me. I never really had to like, I never did one inventory myself. I was able to like skip all that shitty, like the lower people coming in they have to do the inventories by hand and like scan hundreds of parts and like this and that. I like never had to do that shitty part. I got put like, you're doing financial reports. It was like the first thing
they just gave it to you.
And I was like,
it to you straight.
I was like, sick. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was, made some errors here and there. Actually, spent on accident $2 million of your tax dollars. So
Well, fucking, you guys want to know where it all went. Well,
that's
fucking, thank you, boy. But how does that happen? You misplace a couple zeros on something?
Dude, I'm like a month onto the ship. Like, I don't know, like, anything, right? And they're like, all right, here, do these financial reports and, like, just follow up with these parts. So, like, you send certain codes, right, for certain parts. So, say, like, a part... I forget a lot of the codes, right? But so what happened was I didn't know what to do, and I asked this guy that I was working with. I was like, "Hey, what kind of follow-up code should I send for this issue?" And he was like, "Oh, just send an ATA on it." And I was like, "An ATA, okay, I'll do that." And I send an ATA, whatever. Like a day goes by, and then I get called into the office, and they're like, "Mitchell, we need you to come down here." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever." And then like I thought nothing of it, and then I go into the office, and it's like my division officer, like all upper chain of command, and I'm just like, they're just sitting at a table, like, and I was like, oh shit, like what the hell?
This can't be good.
And I was like, yes sir. And then like, why did you send an ATA on that radar system yesterday? And I was like, oh, I wasn't really too sure what to do. I just started doing this, and then Smith told me like. I didn't even mean to like snitch. I didn't.
You kind of just gave them.
I was
details.
just telling, like, I didn't know how big of it, like, what had happened.
Right.
Not that I ain't no snitch.
Yeah.
But and then and they're like, okay, well, do you know what an ATA is? And I was like, nah.
No.
And they're like, okay, well, basically, what you did was that you sent a message saying that the part was lost, so we needed to purchase a new one.
Oh,
so basically, you bought another like $2 million part. And then I was like, fuck. How much money?
Right, yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Damn. Well, and there's no way that they can, like, redact it or say, like, hey, we actually need to return this $2 million part.
I think, there was a way.
Yeah.
It's probably, I think it was just, like, it was a headache, and it was, like, a lot of extra paperwork. And it got probably flagged real quick, and it's like, why the hell is Mitchell, like, what the hell, you just spent $2 million, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you had that kind of power, and it was kind of their fault to give to 1 month in, tell you like, hey, you're running financial reports.
I don't know why it's very nonchalant. You'd be surprised in the military how
I'd be very surprised.
Nonchalant and like untrained a lot of people are.
Right. Well, I mean, how can they, unless it's someone that there's no like, you don't take prereqs to get into the Army or the Navy or anything like that. You kind of just go and sign up like, hey, I want to.
Yeah, you do test an ASVAB, and you get a certain score, and then based off that score, you're qualified for certain jobs.
Right.
And then you have training. So you do go to like a school for, I want to say mine was 2 months, but I mean this is sitting at a computer all day and then like doing PowerPoints.
Yeah.
And then going to the job and then them being like, all right, do this. And you're like, dude, I didn't learn anything in that fucking school. You know what I mean? It's not like real training. It's kind of a waste of time, low key.
Sounds like regular schooling.
I feel like most of the stuff I learned in there was like mail handling procedures and stuff. And like, I didn't work in mail.
Yeah,
they got some stuff they got to fix.
Jesus, I feel like for them they're again, not to knock on like the way they have everything set up, but is that they're just trying to like get anyone that they can to like come in, and it's like, hey, they'll figure it out with real world experience. Like once we get you on, you passed your ASVAB, you passed the qualified, you check all the boxes, and there's no major red flags, and they're like, okay, let's just throw them into the wolves.
It's hard to say because I mean, with the military, you have such like a huge variety of people joining. You have very smart people. You have rich people. You have poor people. You have people from all over. You know, and you see some people come in who are. You're just like, how the hell did you even get into the like what the So it's hard for them to kind of vet people like that. You know what I mean?
There's only so much they can tell.
There's only so much you can do, right? You know, it's just like any job. You hire a person, and you kind of, okay.
Yeah.
And in the military, they're recruiting. You're not applying really for the military. I mean, you are to like, a certain degree, but you're So it's kind of hard. I get it.
Well, you did your time. You did all that, and how did it like that? There was no like major transition from coming back and kind of relieving yourself of duty. And then from there, going to school, and how did you end up in the industry that we have now?
So, no, I mean, it's different for a lot of people depending on where you're coming from. And I was, I'm from here, so I always knew when I was in the military that right when I got out, I was going to move back, and I was going to go to school, and I was going to do whatever. So I got out and I moved back, and then I was going to school. And actually, like right when I moved back, Alex Ayers, you know Alex, right? Yeah. He was like, so me and Alex Ayers actually go way back, right? Like to like high school years.
Oh, no kidding.
And we used to like DJ parties together, like you know, house music and all that stuff, and just kill
did it back in the day.
Just did it back in the day
before it was a thing.
Yeah, we were young.
Before it was cool.
Yeah, but way before, way before Fisher. No.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. So we did that. So. And we would all, you know, always talk as friends and stuff. And then when I got out, when I was in the Navy, he went to sound engineering school in Hollywood. So when I got out, he was like, "Hey, I got this gig at Mixed Bag. If you want to come, you know, help." I was like, "Oh, Mixed Bag." I was like, "It's tight."
He had a gig as in he was playing, or he was
working.
Okay.
He was like helping with sound and you know, setting up and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm down. And then I went to like the first one, and I just kind of like watched what they were doing, and I was like, oh, it's like crazy. This is like some LA shit. You know what I mean? Like
you'd never seen it before.
And at the time, it was at damn, I forget the name of the bar downtown. It's basically like a library.
Not Broadway Bar.
No, not Broadway Bar.
I think I know what spot you're talking about. It has like the books in the walls itself,
it's
and it
right
comes up.
Project. Is it?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know the spot you're talking about.
Yeah. So they did a stream there, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is cool, you know. And then he kept asking me to come back and help, and like I wasn't like getting paid or anything, but I was like, well, this is kind of a cool experience. Like I'll just, you know, let's just see like what happens.
Yeah.
And then I just did it for like a year, and then one day they're just like, hey, we want to know if you like, we're gonna start paying you and stuff to do this. Like,
what's the work that you were doing for them?
Basically, they just wanted me to keep helping like the way I was. So I was just like helping with, at that time, just like basic, like just being like, you know.
Because what they do is they pretty much live stream.
Yeah. At the time, we didn't have, there was no like Mixmag office where they could throw a party. Mm-hmm. So they were renting out the back of Project LA. So the equipment and stuff needed to be like moved and carried from here to here and plugged in. So like stuff like that, you know. And then I would basically just help set up, and then learning sound and just learning, you know, things here and there. And then I just started doing it. I just fell into it just like that, just from like working for free. Yeah. Because of Alex, and then from them starting to pay me, basically.
And you've been working them since 2015?
Yeah.
What's the difference been from when you like first started with Mixmag? Because was that the first time that they were doing this kind of like live stream Mixmag lab show in LA, or was that fairly recent that they started doing this?
It was somewhat recent. Right. I'm not too sure how. I wouldn't say like more than a year. I don't know the exact date they started. They were doing the first like LA one. Yeah. I don't know. They've been filming forever, but as far as LA, I'm not too sure. But
like, have you seen the difference from let's say the Mixmag that you knew when you first started? Oh, yeah. Like, what's that biggest like?
Definitely the quality of like video production is way different, and we have. I mean, it's different because now like there's, you know, the LA Mixmag branch had its own office, and you could set it up the way you want to and do this, as opposed to like renting out the back of Project LA, where you're kind of just like. Just, you know, in and out. Yeah. You don't really have too much like power, you know, to be like creative or do this and that. You know, now it's like at the lab, people will bring, you know, their own team to come and set up like whatever they want. You know, like I forget who it was, set up like a bunch of old school TVs everywhere and had like static. You know, and like What's So Not brought a huge horse statue. And so we can do like different stuff like that and make it, you know, cooler, and do live performances with like live singing and. Yeah, so you have more freedom and stuff to be more creative. Is
it more on the image of Mixmag themselves, or do they kind of give you guys the creative freedom as the team here in LA? Because you guys are the ones that are, you know, boots on the ground, seeing what it's like out here. Do you have any sort of, like, is there a team effort more from a smaller standpoint, or more from, like, the big dogs up at, like, Mixmag?
It's a combination of both. Zach Becks, I feel like, actually, he's the one who has his, like, fangs, you know, in it, like, this is like what it's going to look like. Right. And, you know, and he does, you know, he has his way, but we all work together, and, you know, especially the camera guys like Vinny and, you know, Derek or Trevor Dean, they, you know, they know what looks good because they're camera guys. They know, you know, the lighting, this and that. So it's like a collective effort for sure. that we all just get together and you know, decide what.
Are you personally a fan of the sound direction that Mixmag is taking? Because I know before, from 2015 to now, I mean, the music alone in the industry has changed like night and day. So it's, what is it? Where was it like when you first started? What was it like you were walking into with Alex Ayers playing?
So, as far as like Mixmag in LA at the time, you know, I feel like what I was hearing the most, I mean, and I think for everyone it's different, right? Of
course.
Like somebody can say, oh no, at that time it was all about this or that. For me, what I was hearing a lot of was like G house and like deep house.
That's right.
In 2015, that was like that was like the trending like variation of house music that was going on. It was so much G house everywhere. Yeah. And then like shortly after that, I think I want to say like future house kind of started to become a thing, and so that was the main.
Damn, it's funny you said G house, man. Because 4 or 5 years ago, 2015 is when we started 900 Block, and the shows that Narek and I would go to, and the music we were hearing was predominantly like G house and deep house and stuff that I wasn't used to hearing. And so we came into the industry, so to speak, whatever, to a certain extent, when that was around. And it's crazy that Mixmag kind of reflected that even early on. Yeah,
there was a lot of G house. It's funny that my buddy just played at Avalon, and they were telling him that he's like, the stage is like future in G house, and I was like, what? I was like, what? G house? I was like, people still even say that? That's still a thing, dude. G house? What the fuck? And then so it's funny when you said that. I was like, G house came to my mind. But I mean, as far as like, you know, and also like as far as Mixmag, like the variety of artists, I mean, you can't really like pin it down to one sound, right?
Yeah.
Like there's techno, there's house, there's
tech house,
all sorts of there's tech house. There's, you know, a lot of different stuff. So I just, for me, and what I was hearing a lot at that time, and from the people around me, was definitely G house and like deep house, deep house especially.
And then now that transition it's not even, I feel like, in that same ballpark.
No. Now it's just, for me, it's a lot of tech house. I think most people would agree that tech house is like everywhere right now, and techno will always be there. But I think tech house is really big right now.
It is. I think, techno is one of those things that's always going to be there. It's like, it's always techno, and same with house music, like just OG house music is always going to be there. But tech house, for one reason or another here in LA, I don't know if it has to do with the collectives that are representing the specific subgenre of dance music that are prolific in LA.
I think that's a big part of it, for sure. That's definitely, I think the Desert Hearts crew and what they do, along with Dirty Bird up in the Bay Area, you know, they're kind of leading the way, and they're all tech house. You know what I mean? Especially, well, I mean, I don't want to get into. People have their opinions on what tech house is, and techno, and
you can get into it a little bit. You know, this is a safe space, bro.
And Dirty Bird and Desert Hearts don't sound that alike.
No,
you know what I mean?
No.
So,
of course.
So there's already somebody probably pissed off right now, but but I think, you know, that's those two groups right there is some of the more influential people right now, and they're both fall under a tech house category. Yes. Yeah.
Well, what is it? I mean, just speaking on those two, because I mean, again, they're two of the most prolific like record labels or cult following almost. Like, how do you think something like that even still happens now? Because when we kind of got into it, I'm sure you're with the same with the whole Insomniac shows and sound. They kind of started the whole wave or resurgence of dance music for us. And then now in LA specifically, and let's say the Bay with Dirty Bird, these collectives go from being, you know, startup, and they start to kind of get their niche and find something, and then something shifts into like this big cult following of a sound and of a community and a family.
Yeah. So as far as like Insomniac, I think I wouldn't even like look at it like, I guess it could be considered a cult following, but I think the thing with that back in the day was that like they were the only huge they were the only ones doing like huge massives, you know what I mean? And it was like, wasn't really anything necessarily crazy that they were doing, like, you know, aesthetically or like it was just they had the huge massives with like the headliners. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. They could have did it anywhere. They could have had it set up anyway. That was you know what I mean? Yeah. So but with Desert Hearts and Dirty Bird, that's different. The way they market their stuff is is really good. They have their own sound,
Yeah.
their own style. You know what I mean? Their own festivals is what is different with what they're doing with their, you know, people weren't rocking Dirty Bird gear. You know what I mean? They have all their team, their Dirty Bird players.
Yeah.
They, you know, that sound. You know, if you like one Dirty Bird artist, you probably like all of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. How are you? You know, you're not gonna like Claude and then not like Om Nom and then like,
but like Justin Martin.
oh, but I do like Justin Martin, but I don't like his brother. Like, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
not.
yeah.
All the music's very similar. It's you know, Dirty Bird might as well have its own genre of music. Like,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That it's
Same,
all
almost
it's
with-
all similar.
Yeah.
It's all really good and creative. I'm not saying like, you know, but it's all definitely
I feel you.
they sound alike. And the same thing with Desert Hearts, you know. And they have their own swag. Their festival is like a big part of. For me, I mean, I think the festival is like what makes them who they are. You know, what I mean?
agree.
And you know, the whole Desert Hearts crew and what they do, and their swag, and their, you know, the colors.
Yeah.
You know, they have their own vibe and stuff, and it's really vibey, and it's fucking dope.
Yeah, I feel like that's hard to just. I mean, the fact that they were able to find it and they saw the direction of where it was going, it kind of just took a mind of its own. Like there's only so much they can do to add something new to the industry, because a lot of people that I talk to, a big question is like, okay, if you're going to be in such a saturated market like LA, or such a saturated market as let's say California as a whole, what can you do to stand apart, or how do you find something that isn't already being done? And because like collectives like that, like Dirty Bird and Desert Hearts, with Dirty Bird and the Camp Out and that whole vibe, and then Desert Hearts has their whole thing, that's like, it just seemed natural to find something out of nothing almost.
Yeah, I think I mean, maybe they have the recipe, right? Just if you can create a sound and have like a bunch of guys and gals ready to produce and like make some tracks, and you guys are all like on the same vibe, and you know what I mean, and you can throw a party. You can have like an annual party, or you know do it however you want. But if you can have like a party that people like, where you go and you play your like group's style of music, and you do it right, people are gonna go. If you're making good music and throwing good parties, like people are going.
The people.
So if you could make it a little unique with, you know, I won't say anything too specific about like, you know, but have your little your thing. Have your thing.
Have your
you know?
thing.
You gotta have a
actually.
thing. You know. So.
You DJ still?
I do.
On occasion, I saw you on the Temple lineup.
Yeah. Well, that was a while. I played. We Are Basil, and then and then I just did something for New Year's. But I DJ occasionally, like when people ask. I don't really like promote or like market myself as like a DJ anymore. I just got sick of like basically promoting. Hey, come to my show, like flyers and shit. Just like, and you know, it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I can play. Playing all these shows is fun. You know, sometimes people don't want to pay you, like they want you to DJ for just drinks, and that's fine, you know, to have fun, but like to be doing that over and over, nah. I'll do it if you're gonna pay me, like, okay, cool, like I'll do it. You know? If it's gonna be something fun with the homies, like, you know what I mean, like I'll
it's
do
a different
that.
vibe. But
to keep like you got to start producing music at some point if you ever want to, like, you know what I mean,
get to the next level, especially now.
Yeah.
Do you think it was always like that though? Because I think there was a time where DJing was pretty much that's it. If you knew how to DJ, you knew how to mix, you can kind of you know how to keep the crowd.
For sure, back in the I don't think at any point in my like adult life has there been a time where, I mean, anyone could do like anything, right? Like you can definitely be a DJ getting gigs just because you're popular and cool and you play good.
Right. I feel like that still happens.
Yeah, it happens. I think, but I think it's easier if you could, and you probably as a DJ. I mean, I would think you would want to like aspire to produce some sort of your own, you know, your own music. Yeah. That's like the ultimate goal, right? I mean, it's fun to play other people's music and tracks that you like and stuff, but
then you become a real like an actual artist when you're the producing the song itself. Yeah. But the producing side never. I
produced a little bit, but it was like it gets to the point where it's like, well, okay, I could kind of do this. Like I can make this with, you know, this laptop and this, you know, keyboard. Like how much time and money do I want to like invest into like actual music production? Like, am I gonna build my own whole studio? You know what I mean? Yeah. It becomes another. It's a lot of money, and like I was just like, do I want to really like dive and like, is that like really what I want to do? Like make music? And I was just like, I don't know. Yeah. So I still, you know, I've made a couple tracks here for for fun, just with like a laptop and like using what I can.
Sure.
But as far as like making tracks and like investing in like a bunch of equipment, like no. So, but I have my fun.
Yeah.
Whatever makes you happy.
Do you work full time with Mixmag now? That they've brought you on with them, or
no? I just do like the labs and the festivals and stuff like that. So
what do you do with the festival? Do they do the same kind of like interview style?
It's the same, basically what we do at the lab, right? Like, so have you seen like what we do with Cross and stuff?
I have not. I mean, I'm familiar with Cross, but I don't know what Mixmag does with them.
So we basically film all this. Well, at this point, we've done all the stages there, but typically we'll film like 2-3 artists a day for the festival. So we're running around. Those are some of the cooler videos that I think I've done for sure is at Cross Festival. 'Cause that's a pretty. Have you been to Cross Festival?
I have, yeah. I went a couple years ago. Probably won't ever go back.
Yeah. So Cross Cross works with Mixmag to do the videos, and it's.
Is it Cross that pretty much coordinates what artists are getting recorded, or is it upon like artist requests?
It's Cross. It's Cross.
Okay.
They're the ones who like pay Mixmag, so it's like.
So they want to highlight certain artists.
Yeah, it's their festival. It's like, who do you want to?
Yeah, that's true. Who do you want to show? Who do you want to represent?
Yeah. Who's repping CrossFest? So,
yeah.
Last year we did. We've done last year. Walker and Royce was really good. We did 999999999.
Yeah.
That was intense. Oh man, if you ever see those guys live, it's crazy.
They played recently, I think, in LA with 6 a.m. I think, or Synthetic Minds.
Did you go?
I didn't go. No, I didn't go. I find it hard to even get out for like my own shows lately, to be honest. Let alone go to like after hours now. Yeah. Hate to sound fucking ancient, but
I feel you. Yeah, I can get tiring.
Were you big on the after hours for a while, or do you kind of just try to keep it more to?
Yeah. I like, dude, I like the afters, right. But I don't go a lot, so that's good. That's good.
And is just because we're on the topic of Mixmag and the lab, and is it them finding a sponsor to kind of help run something like the lab, or do they take? Because I feel like when they have let's say a certain sponsor, the music I've seen leans a certain way compared to another one that is represented by a different. No. Okay, it has nothing to do with that. No, got it. Not at all. Well, when do they plan on doing more LA lab shows? If you can disclose that information.
No, yeah, we're I'm talking with somebody right now who is supposed to do it next week. So
damn, and they just put it up on there's like no sort of promoting other than the Facebook group that they get it out, or word of mouth, or
it's promoted through the website and stuff, but in Twitter and a variety of like different places.
Oh, so places I don't look, so that's why
it's
I don't
not
see
really
it.
like it's not necessarily the promoting of the actual party that anyone's really like people are gonna come,
right?
You know what I mean? It's not like we're dying. Like,
what's the big focus then for them? Just getting the stream smooth and running and live and
good stream, good music, good good video. Basically,
that makes sense. Yeah. That's simple enough.
Yeah.
And is what's the goal, or where do you see yourself moving in within Mixmag? Because that's for some people that's like a dream job or a dream company to work with, because you're working, especially if you're in dance music, like working for someone like Mixmag, the potential of where you can go is kind of like limitless for them.
Yeah, it's definitely good for a resume,
Yeah.
Definitely good to have Mixmag on a resume. For me personally, I mean, I don't know if like I'm gonna always continue to like be doing something in music necessarily, but I mean, obviously that would be awesome, But as far as like moving up in Mixmag, like it depends, It's just really right now what's gonna happen with the lab LA and what's going on with that situation. As far as like doing anything besides the lab LA, no, I don't think
nothing really.
No, okay. No, I don't think so. So I just want to. I have to. I'm in school still, finish my degree, and like see. I might like try to dive into like a whole different.
What are you studying?
Film and electronic media.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of related to like what I.
Yeah.
So
that's a resume builder while you're going to school to kind of get a degree. That's smart.
Yeah. So it's a cool little part-time job to have, like while I.
Are you getting into like film, like behind the camera type film, or actually like creating as a producer, director?
I mean, I'm doing both, but as far as like what I want to do in the future, I don't know. It's up in the air. Yeah. I kind of, I think there's a lot. I actually like video games a lot, so I think that like in regards to like how a lot of newer video games do storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
and they're almost like movies now. I think that would be interesting to get into. More interesting for me than film necessarily.
Right.
So I think that can be cool. But I mean, anything that kind of entertains people is I like.
Is like
that.
you're leaning towards
Yeah,
that.
yeah. If I'm not like helping somebody like smile or have a better day through entertainment, then like I'm not.
It's not worth it. Yeah.
I'm not doing the right job.
I think you'll settle. I mean, it seems like you have the direction at least like on the way. You'll be able to place yourself in pretty easily.
Yeah.
Is the video game market is it? I mean, I know it's between that and porn as far as like the biggest backers and biggest supporters and biggest everything pretty much. So is it something where you can find yourself anywhere in there essentially?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's especially with like the rise of like professional video gaming and like live streaming and stuff like that. There's a lot of money. YouTube, and there's so much stuff to do with like any sort of media, like video games. There's just so many different things you can do. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, not that I don't really like watch all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like I don't watch like professional.
Yeah, like sit there and watch that.
But
right.
like I do know, I've met people who work in that industry, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty like kind of a cool job. Like you're working like video, but like in video, it's like kind of interesting. So I've always thought that maybe, that's actually something cool. Like if music and electronic music is like. That's my favorite thing of all time, right? Like I've always loved music. Like my dad's a musician, and like electronic music is like, I've always loved it. So being able to like just do what I do with Mix Mag is like amazing. And if I could, do something like this as a career for like, the rest of my life, that'd be like amazing.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. Why would you not?
So, but I would love doing a lot of other things too. So it's not like, we'll see.
Do you ever try to film yourself gaming? Because to my understanding, you're a professional FIFA player.
Okay.
Facts, or what's the breakdown with that? I was waiting to drop that. I want to know the details on that.
I am a world famous FIFA player. Yes.
No shit.
No, dude. I'm really good at FIFA though.
Okay.
I won like one tournament, dude, and I was like, okay, this is going on my Facebook. I'm a professional. FIFA and then like player. So the Sounders are my team, so I just put like. Professional FIFA player. Yeah. But that is probably my bread and butter game right there. If I was gonna be pro at anything, it'd probably be FIFA for sure.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, I'm gonna actually call him out on this, Leo. He's very under the impression that he's a better FIFA player than I will ever be at any other game I play. Is that kind of your steez with a lot of your gaming?
No, dude, no? I don't know. Yeah, that's such an arrogant thing to say.
I'm gonna send this part of the clip to him.
I'm a pretty good FIFA player though. Yeah. I wouldn't say like, oh, I'm better at you than any
game I will ever be good at.
That is bold.
That is bold. That's bullshit.
Damn,
Leo, but it's bold.
I might have to play this.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna get y'all links. Just kick his ass for me.
Oh my gosh. Dude.
So do you travel with the team, Seattle Sounders? Is it are they in the MLS obviously? Yeah. But do they why Seattle first and foremost?
So I was stationed in Seattle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I was in the Navy, I was stationed in Seattle, and I was actually exploring the city. I was like. I got stationed on a town like outside of Seattle. It's across the water. It's like a 40-minute ferry drive called Bremerton. Mm-hmm. And but so right when I got there, I was like, dude, I have to go to Seattle. Like I have to see. Like I'm such a city person. Like I need to see a city and like get the fuck out of here. And, like, this is where I'm gonna be hanging out. Like, And like the first day I was there, I was just like, I hear like loud chanting and like I was like, dude, what the fuck? It sounded like 300.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I was just like, dude, what the hell?
Sick.
And then I just like turned this corner. There's like thousands of people in what's called Pioneer Square there, and I was like, dude, what the fuck is going on here? And I was like, hey, what's going on? He's like, it's the soccer game. The Sounders are playing, of course. I was like, I'm not
stupid.
I'm gonna watch MLS, dude. And I was like, this is for soccer. I was like, this is some Green Street Hooligan shit going on. Like, these
great movie, by the way.
I was like, great movie. Yeah, that's a really good movie. Yeah. But I was like, oh, I didn't know people went hard for like soccer like that in America.
I didn't either until recently.
I was like, damn, I got to go to one of these games. And I did, and it was just like mind blowing. So I just like never missed a game since.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you do travel with the team?
No, I mean, I meant like so that year, like I was like season ticket holder. Like I go to all the games, and like I watch when I can, and then I became a fan that way. As far as like traveling with the team, like no, I don't like fly all over the country and shit. Like I mean, that would be sick. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm definitely, if I'm gonna like go on vacation, like I always look like I will like see if I can plan it around. Like
Right.
that would be cool to like but that's
Catch a
not,
game while you're out
yeah,
there.
but I'm not gonna like fly like Atlanta just to watch them and shit. Like
And then come back.
I love the Sounders and shit, but I ain't about to do all that.
Yeah. No,
I'll go to Seattle, for a home game, but like once a year when I camp. But yeah, and then when they come to LA, that's like a thing I do.
Is that like the big game?
For me it is, yeah.
Yeah.
But and then LA and Seattle are like the two best teams in the
Currently
like in the West, yeah. So it's always like
Is it the same division as they do with like the NBA? Certain teams in the East and the West.
yeah.
Playoff
The
structure.
MLS is structured like
Okay.
East and West.
Okay, got it. Dope, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of information I didn't know about you. Started
Yeah.
with the Navy and worked
now-
your way up to mixed match.
Started from the bottom, swabbing.
Swabbing, now you hear?
Does that rhyme? Am I freestyling? Is this a cipher?
Swabbing from the bottom.
Swabbing? No, that doesn't rhyme.
No.
This is not a freestyle.
All right, fuck it. We'll hold a freestyle for the next one. But is there where can everyone find your? Wait, what?
I do freestyle.
You do freestyle.
Well, that's for another podcast.
Fuck. All right. Well, I'm gonna bring a little beat maker on the next one.
Yeah, dude, do it.
And we'll get you spitting some rhymes.
I
but
shouldn't have said that. Okay.
oh, you have to now.
Now I
So
have to.
2020, at the end of 2020, we're gonna get Mike Mitchell back.
Dude, you want me to freestyle? Just bring me tequila.
Okay.
Just trip me with tequila.
Noted.
And then give me a little tipsy and be like, hey, dude, we should freestyle. And I'll be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we should. Fucking great idea.
You start.
Do you have a beat?
Yeah. We can find someone that beatboxes, but no, I can't freestyle or rap to save my life, so I'm not getting in that circle with you.
No, yeah. It's understandable. Most people.
You just got it like that?
It was like something we used to do in middle school.
Yeah.
Doing beats on the table.
Yeah. Sick. Here?
Yeah.
LA?
No, well, dude, I was Army brat, so all over.
Oh, that's right, yeah. You did
Mainly,
travel a lot.
I first started freestyling in the Bay Area, when I was in middle school.
Around the hyphy movement.
That's why I'm a Raider fan, also.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah, the hyphy movement.
Sorry about the Raiders. Not really, but
Never heard of
sorry,
them.
not
The
sorry.
Who?
Yeah.
What?
They changed their name from Oakland Raiders to the Raiders.
Dude.
Jeez.
Oh, I was like, unfollowing.
Yeah. Well, why not just go to the Las Vegas Raiders since that's what they're going to be anyway? Or is it not like finalized? They have a whole fucking stadium being built there.
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll ask him next time we're on.
Yeah,
We're on the air with them.
Mark Davis down here with this goofy ass haircut.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, we got games today. I know you want to get out and catch
Yeah.
the football game. Where can everyone find you on social media, online, shout outs?
Instagram, Mike Ill, Mike __ Ill. If you didn't know, that's like a little smiley face. Yes.
I didn't know.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, oh shit.
Oh, check it out.
Yeah, it's just like a little face.
Pay more attention to it.
Mike Ill's Instagram. Yeah, not a big Twitter guy, so that's where you can find me. Or you can find me on Facebook, but that's a little rare.
Right.
So
Really?
yeah, it's just Instagram. So.
Word.
Yeah, come double tap my pictures.
Do it for the man. Well, I appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, man.
It's my pleasure. Thank you guys for tuning in.